I own in Kansas City, where a tenant flooded the basement with sewage. And when I sent a contractor to clean it up, he was met by 10 armed men who told him he wasn't touching anything. I said I was in the middle of deciding what to do about it. And here is what I decided. I'm selling it, and instead of just taking the cash and moving on, I'm carrying the finance myself and becoming the lender on my own sale. I'm Mario, and today I want to walk you through exactly what that means, because it's not a trick or a loophole. It is a completely normal, well-established way to sell property that almost nobody talked to landlords about. If you are new here, hit subscribe, because this is exactly the kind of thing we cover every week. Here is the mechanic in plain terms. When you sell a property and carry the finance yourself, instead of requiring the buyer to get a bank loan, that is called an installment sale. It falls under a specific part of the tax code, Section 453, and it means you become the bank on your own deal. The buyer makes payments to you, secured by a lien on the property. The same first lien position that protects a bank on a normal mortgage. You get to set the terms. You get to vet the buyer. And that note that results from the property is a real, sellable financial asset. The exact same kind of asset we buy and hold at Ritsel Notes. I want to be clear about something, because taxes are not something to wing. Installment sales have real tax implications, and how the gain gets recognized over time depends on your specific situation. This is not personalized advice, and before you do anything like this with a property of your own, please talk to a CPA or a tax advisor who knows your numbers. What I'm describing here is the general mechanic, not a recommendation for your specific deal. So why does this actually solve my Kansas City problem? Because the thing that made that property miserable was never the real estate. It was the operations. It was me being responsible for who lived there, what condition the property is in, and what happens when something goes wrong at 2 a.m. When I sell that house and carry the note myself, I keep the yield, I keep the security of the lien, and I hand every single operations headache to the servicing company that managed that note. No more tenants, no more contractors getting turned away in my driveway. Just a payment that shows up on the same day every month, the same way my Phoenix note does, the one I told you about on Wednesday. This is really the whole idea behind become the bank. You are not giving up the real estate. You are changing which side of the transaction you actually sit on. A landlord takes on the property, the tenant, and the maintenance in exchange for rental income. A lender takes on none of that and gets paid anyway, because the debt is secured by the real estate either way. Let me make that concrete without using my actual Kansas City numbers, since I haven't finalized them yet. So let's say a property sells for $300,000. Instead of the buyer getting a bank loan and handing you a lump sum, you agree to carry the note yourself. Maybe you take a meaningful down payment up front, and the buyer pays you the rest over time at an interest rate you both agree to, secured by the lien on that property you just sold. You pick the buyer, you pick the terms, and from that point forward, you are the one collecting the monthly payment instead of collecting rent, fielding maintenance calls, and hoping the next tenant treats the place better than the last one. Here is the part that most people do not realize. That note is not something you are locked into holding until the buyer pays it off in the full 20 or 30 years from now. It is a real financial asset, and like any note, you can sell your position in it on the secondary market. Either the whole thing or a partial, a piece of it, if your plans change down the road. You are not trading a property that you cannot exit early for a note that you also cannot exit either. You are trading illiquid real estate for something with genuine flexibility built in. Now, I know some of you are thinking about this from the other direction. Maybe you are not selling a property. You just have capital sitting in an account that is not doing much. and you're wondering whether you could just buy the note like this instead of creating one through the sale of your own. Both paths leads to the same place. Whether you carry financing on your own sale or you buy an existing note from someone else, you end up holding the same kind of asset, secure debt on real property, with someone else handling the day-to-day. There is also a piece of this that I'm not going to fully unpack on camera, and that is intentional. Because once you're holding notes like this, there are ways to structure how payments and reinvestment can work that you can meaningfully change the math over time. That is something we walk through one-on-one, not something I can responsibly cover in a 10-minute video, because it depends entirely on your specific numbers and goals. Now, if any part of this, selling and carrying your own financing or buying an existing note instead, sounds like something you would like to actually understand rather than just hear about, that is exactly what our free 5-day Become the Bank Challenge walks you through. No cost, just 5 days, real mechanics. The link is down in the description. I will be honest with you, Wednesday's video was not an easy one for me to make. Watching a contractor get turned away by armed men over a house I own is not something I enjoy talking about. But I wanted you to see the whole arc, the actual mess, and the actual decision I made because of it. Because I think a lot of you are sitting on a property right now wondering if there's a better way to hold it. And there is. Now, thank you for spending the time with me. If this helped you to see your own properties differently, please share this with somebody who needs it, and I will see you in the next video.